You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. The Taylorville City Council met on Monday evening, and all aldermen were present except for Chris Skoltedy. The council approved most motions on Monday night, including approving and authorizing the execution of an overhang easement with Commonwealth Edison Company, a motion approving and authorizing a resolution of support for the IDOT Safe Routes to School grant application, a motion for amending part of the Taylorville City Code concerning water restoration fees and eliminating free water fees for Clearwater Organic Farms. This will go into effect as of January 1st. The council also approved a motion for approving and authorizing the sale of 4 police department vehicles, BDD agreements with the Fraternal Order of Eagles at 217 East Main Cross, Dustin Clark at 100 through 102 South Main Street, and Taylorville music lessons at 3419 South Cherokee Road. The council approved a motion for a taxiway consultant service agreement, a replacement firefighter for the TFD, radios and pagers for the TFD as well, and an engineering services agreement for Adams Street improvements. A motion concerning the Solar on Earth contract, however, was tabled. Under committee reports, work for Taylorville Food Center paving was approved. Adams Street proposal from Earthworks was approved, and a motion on reconstruction of West Main Cross Street from Silver Street to Clay Street was approved. Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry thanked everyone for coming out to Chili Fest and praised retiring Tom Calvert and announced upcoming homecoming festivities.
Thank you to Crystal Baker and April Wolf on a fabulous Chili Fest this past weekend. Thank you to all the committee members for their exceptional work, and a special thank you to Tom Calvert for being the chili competition director for the past 28 years. Tom is retiring after this year has retired. This week is homecoming for the Taylorville High School. The homecoming parade is Wednesday, the football game is Friday, and the homecoming dance is Saturday. Also, the last car show of the year is this Friday on our square. It's Trunk or Treat. Taylorville Food Center project is about 95% complete. Work continues on the Safe Routes to School, and we will soon begin work on West Main Cross. Thank you very much.
And the next city council meeting is set for October 20th. Taylorville Memorial Hospital and the Christian County YMCA are teaming up to host a senior day out later this month. The event will take place on Tuesday, October 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Taylorville YMCA. Organizers say the goal is to bring local seniors together for a day of fun, fellowship, and community connection. The event is open to anyone age 55 and older and will include bingo, door prizes, health screenings, exhibits, and more. A complimentary lunch will also be provided for the first 100 attendees. Taylorville Memorial Hospital's community health consultant, Jay Bollinger, says events like these are a great way to encourage seniors to stay active and engaged while learning more about local health and wellness resources. Those interested in attending or learning more can reach out to Jay Bollinger at 217-707-5258 or by email at boulanger@mhsil.com or bollinger.j@mhsil.com. The 40th annual Chili Fest is now in the books. The milestone edition featured a high turnout in terms of both visitors and vendors. Chili cook-offs, pageants, performances, and games attracted large crowds, and cooperative weather made for a fun weekend on the Taylorville Square. Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce organizes this Chili Fest every single year. The Chamber's board president, Crystal Baker, was thrilled with the turnout and is grateful to the community for doing their part for Chili Fest for the last 40 years.
It's been absolutely incredible. Another perfect weather day, which is all we can ask for, right? We have a huge crowd out here today, so it's been really, really good. I want to say the community always comes together, but the community coming together for the 40th has been absolutely incredible. We've had a lot of sponsors, big sponsors this year. We've had the YMCA involved in our Kids Zone this year, which is really cool because they like to keep the healthy kids stuff going. I just think we've had a huge turnout with volunteers, a lot of different community businesses involved, and it's been really good.
Elizabeth Hohenstein is a co-chair of Chili Fest and the festival's vendor coordinator. She says the vendor turnout has grown nearly fivefold since she has started.
We've had an amazing turnout this year, probably our biggest that we've ever had. It grows every year. We have filled 179 spots, I believe, and over 139 vendors this year.
You've been involved in this event for some time. How have you seen it change over the years?
This is my 25th year, and it started, I think when I started, we had about 30 vendors, and so it has grown amazingly, and it is a well-oiled machine, and we have a lot of amazing volunteers, and the community gets behind us more and more every day, and so it's one big family this year, definitely.
You and I are sitting on the west side of the Taylorville Square. Would you say there are 30 vendors like in our line of sight?
I would
or
say
at least
so.
more than that. So
At
you had
least.
30 back when you started across the entire square?
Yes.
One of the many vendors was Susie's Resale, which sells clothes, accessories, and a variety of similar products which they and others have created. Becky Adcock, who helped run their stand, was impressed with the traffic of visitors to their setup.
It's been really nice. It's beautiful out. I don't know if you've been at the Chili Fest before, but sometimes there's a lot of wind and rain, and it's beautiful. So there's a lot of people. We're doing great at our booth, meeting a lot of new people. There's cheerleading and dance going to be happening soon. So that's, I think, what brought in that influx of people.
Students in the Christian County CEO program had their own booth set up. They served dirty sodas, among other beverages. Josie Heberling was part of that effort and says it was a success, especially on Saturday.
Yesterday, we definitely sold a lot more than what we expected to. We had people who would come back 3 or 4 times just to keep buying drinks because they loved it so much.
You made it addicting, it sounds like. And then what's been your favorite part about being at Chili Fest and doing all of this?
My favorite part is just getting to see the amount of people who come out and support the community, and getting to walk around and see all these vendors and what everybody is selling. It's just very fun, and it's a fun environment.
This year, the Christian County YMCA helped orchestrate the Kids Zone. Jill Ruat, the program coordinator for the Y, says this is yet another way that they give back to the youth in the community.
Yes, it's the Vortex Stream Machine. It's STEM-based, so it's got robotics, technology, arts, all kinds of activities. Kids can go in their little bus. It's brought to us by the Scouts of America. Kids can walk through, do some little activities, do some learning, hands-on, fun stuff over there. What does it mean? This is just such a great community event, and Christian County YMCA, we serve the entire Christian County area and beyond. So to have a hand in providing activities for kids and their families has just been a wonderful experience.
More information on Chili Fest is available on the event's Facebook page. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, which is brought to you by First National Bank of Taylorville.
I'm James Kirk, Vice President at First National Bank in Taylorville. I get it. Switching banks sounds like a chore, but we make it easy. I've helped people and businesses move their accounts with less hassle than they've expected and more personal service than they've ever gotten before. We've been here for nearly 70 years, a true community bank that's not going anywhere. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. First National Bank in Taylorville, first every time for nearly 70 years. Member FDIC.
The Social Security Administration has now added 13 new conditions to its compassionate allowances list. The purpose of the list is for the SSA to fast-track applications for those with more serious medical conditions, which clearly affect their ability to work. The expedited process is worth noting, as those who apply must normally wait months for their benefit applications to actually be approved. Jack Myers from the SSA says the compassionate allowances list, including the new additions, is available on their website, ssa.gov/compassionate allowances.
If you have a condition that's on the list of compassionate allowance cases, then we can expedite your claim. Basically that means we can get it fast-tracked and assigned to an adjudicator faster. We can really cut down a lot of time on the decision-making process, because some of that work's been done on the front end for those conditions. And, these are a lot of technical type conditions. So we're not going to go through, we've got about 300 different conditions on the list. So, we'll not go through that right now. But, if you want to see the list, you can find that on the website. Go to ssa.gov. compassionate allowances, or once you get to ssa.gov, just search in the search box compassionate allowances, and you can see all those different conditions.
Myers says that the compassionate allowances system saves time for those that are eligible. In other cases, wait times for receiving approval for benefits can be around 7 months, and that amount of time is down actually from previous averages.
When you're facing a disability, that financial support that you can get from our disability programs can be really important to people, but it takes some time when you apply. There's a process. It takes us a while to actually make a medical determination. Your case has to be assigned to an adjudicator. Then that adjudicator has to request and review your medical records. And in July of this year, the average processing time for a disability application was about 220 days, which, that's not a short period of time. But Grayson, that's actually down from where it has been. That's the lowest point it had been over the last year, and 240 days was the highest point in January.
It is possible to receive both supplemental security income, or SSI. So it is possible to receive both, and Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. But there are fine parameters for that to happen.
Sometimes people do get both, and typically, Grayson, the situation where that would arise would be, a person has worked enough to qualify for something from the Social Security Disability Insurance Program, but maybe not very much. Maybe they just barely have enough work credits, so they're not going to get a very high benefit from the Social Security Disability Program. In those circumstances, if they also have low income and few assets, and so they meet the criteria for our SSI, Supplemental Security Income Program, you can potentially get both. And where that would come is if your Social Security is less than the current SSI amount of $967 a month. So you may be able to get a little bit from Social Security and then a little bit more from SSI to get you up to the $967.
And what happens if someone is receiving SSDI and wants to return to work? Well, the Social Security Administration offers ways for someone in this position to attempt to return to work and see if they can still handle it.
Your work, if you go back, doesn't have that immediate impact like it does for SSI. Now, that being said, it is still important to report that to Social Security to keep track of what your wages are. If you report that you've returned to work and you give us your employer's identification number, after you make that report, you can go into your online My Social Security account and you can report your wages to us every month. So that's a really easy way to do it.
Okay.
But you have some incentives on, basically we call it a trial work period, where the first 9 months back to work, you won't lose your Social Security. You'll be able to work and get your Social Security disability. So basically it's structured in a way so that you can attempt to work and see if it's going to be successful before you're at risk of losing your Social Security disability insurance.
More information on Social Security is available at ssa.gov. Jack Myers appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home. This is Chad Sparks.
When a loved one passes, grieving family members and friends often are confronted with dozens of decisions about the funeral arrangements. Sutton Memorial Homes in Taylorville and Nokomis have been helping families in the area for over 55 years with these often difficult decisions. They offer pre-planning, traditional funerals, and cremation. Austin and the staff at Sutton Memorial Homes' goal is to make your family's transition easier in their time of need. Sutton Memorial Homes, where caring is what they do best.
77-year-old Gail Leon Burkhart of Taylorville, formerly of Kincaid, died on October 2nd. Burial will be at Assumption Cemetery and was planned for before winter. Cremation rights have been accorded, and arrangements will be made at a later date. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Masterson Funeral Home in Kincaid. A quick look at the weather. As for today, there is a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms before 1 p.m., and that chance of showers continues into about 2 p.m. today, and a high chance of doing so not happening. Well, that chance of rain set at 20%. The high of 70 here today. Tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy during the evening, gradual clearing, and it will drop to a low of 45. As we make our way into Wednesday, sunny, a high near 71. Wednesday night, clear, with a low around 41. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com or hear them every hour on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.
Cousin